think we are live.
Yeah, we are in live. Just wait a second. Let me share the links to the groups.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, viewers, for joining us here for this special episode. So we have two special guests for our Shaden program today. We have Tom Overend from UK, as a blogger for Chelsea FC, and we got Miz as well, our regular guy, and our Bangladeshi bro as well. So
Hello.
welcome to you all, bro, and thank you, Tom, for give us time. Thank you so
Always.
much for perfect, so much. So, brother, we're just going to wrap up mostly discussing about. I will first of all take the review of yours, Tom and Mies, regarding how Frank Lampard's Chelsea ended the season, and then we go where you are mostly specialized these days for the transfers and all. So, so so some big news and some good transfer already in the background for Chelsea is going on, and we try to bring up the most updated news and all with Tom and Miss. And we have Nafis and Rafi with us as well. Thank you guys for joining. So yeah, going
Thank
to
you.
Thomas first. Tom, what's your take on Chelsea's first season under Frank Lampard? I mean, how you seeing it's happening? If you think about finishing top four, reaching FA Cup final, Champions League second round, what is the best thing you think that happened to Chelsea this season?
The best thing, I think, was the building of a stock of players and an identity under Lampard, bringing through the likes of Mason Mount. Also, the ability that for the first time probably since Roman came, it feels like there's a real Chelsea core and a Chelsea way. And it's strange because I've criticised Lampard for being too quick to change shape sometimes. But I really feel like he is building a Chelsea way and an identity that we're only going to improve going forward because he's building that template. And in the next seasons, I think with signings, with more young players getting experience, we're going to go right to the top. I really, really do.
Right. I mean, especially if you think about how he struggled in defensively. What you take on that? I mean, Frank also did concede so many goals in Derby as well. I mean, do you see that as a weakness he can work with?
Yeah, I see it as a weakness. I think it's not been good this season. There's not a main problem, I think, that's caused the defensive issues is that we haven't had a consistent back line at any stage. Mm-hmm. I was counting this up for an article I wrote. I think we've had about 18 different back lines across the season. You can't build a top team with 18 different back lines because back lines work on chemistry, on players growing a partnership. You can't do that with no consistency. So Lampard's going to probably be bringing in a coach. I think his name's Anthony Barry.
Yeah.
The Wigan guy.
So I think with support and with Lampard knowing that it's not his strongest suit, we can definitely improve in the defence.
I see. Right. And regarding the midfield issue, do you think what was the best combination for us in the midfield? I mean, Kovacic was there, and he was playing with Kante, and then we had Jorginho as well. and Ross Barkley played some matches from the center midfield. So what was your take? I mean, what was the best midfield did you see? I mean, which worked for us actually?
Well, I think it completely depends on the game, because if you're breaking down a low block, I can't think of any better midfield than the likes of a Kante or Kovacic anchoring, and then a Mason Mount and hopefully a Havertz or a Hakim Ziyech as your second number 8, so you can really hit hard. But if you're looking at a more kind of defensive game or a two-sided game, I think having Kovacic and Kante, even Jorginho, 2 of those 3, and then a Mason Mount to really work hard at the press is the way forward. I really do. And I think, but what is good is that Lampard's realised with the midfield, one size definitely doesn't fit all. And we need different combinations for different challenges, I think.
I see. Yes, please, Nafis, carry on. You have some question to
Yeah, that's a very important thing Tom said. Like for defense and for our midfield, we need Lampard. Initially, he was stick with 1 or 2 formations, but the later the season progressed, he improvised. He improvised with the formation 3-4-3, maybe 5-3-2. This type of formations also came to effect. But I think that team was not equipped very big, because we don't have many good target strikers, many good midfielders. But hopefully this season it might change, because overall defensively we might add a few players. Midfield wise, we have a good compact midfield regarding Kante, Jorginho, and so like one or two player will be added on. But I think one of the very important player, I think who is not player, who is young player, not have too much experience, but played too many games. It's Mason Mount.
Yeah.
He was superb. Mount. Mason Mount was in I guess in Lampard high pressing game. Every players got injured. Everyone, like one, not a single player got. But he he started, and it is a very huge season, around 55 to 60 game. So he played at nearly every game bar 1 or 2. That's a very good thing to do.
I agree. I think he actually overused Mason Mount in that period leading up to Christmas. Because suddenly going from a really nice high pressing, I loved watching him. Then by Christmas, I felt like he went a bit stale. And then we found out he was carrying a load of injuries. And because Lampard was playing him every single game, I think he was just being ground down. And then there was a period, I would say, in January, February, where he hardly played at all. And that, again, was just so he could recover. So, again, I think Lampard hasn't always got right the amount he can get the best out of a player before they start to get injured or just get ground down. Kante is another really good example on that. But I have faith, because he's his second year in management. So you can't say it's something that you don't expect, because anyone in their second year of management will have these problems.
Absolutely. And so I goes to the Miz to ask you the same. I mean, the season ended bit on a high note. You can say that we made it to the FA Cup final and got beaten by Arsenal. That is a different story. But I mean, if you think that one standout moment for the Chelsea in this season, what will that be for you?
One standout moment is probably tough to say. I feel like there's been quite a few moments where it showed me that we are moving to the right direction. I think we all need to understand that what was our expectation the last season. I think majority of the fans will tell you they did not expect much. So having said that, and where we ended, it's a fine achievement from Frank Lampard, and I think we need to praise the fact that with the lack of resources that he had, with the lack of personnel, and as Tom was saying, the likes of the youth players developing through these youth players, we bought them for nothing, and they've built equity for this club. Like players like Mason Mount, Tomori, Tammy Abraham, Reece James. they're worth millions and millions of dollars now. Do you know what I mean? Like they're equity for the club that the club did not have prior to last season. So yes, he's had the defensive issues. Yes, he hasn't got it right always. But which manager does get it right always? There's not one single manager that you can name me in this Premier League that has got it right absolutely everything. Even Klopp, even though they won the league by a mile, it's not like he got it right always. We've beaten them. We've actually played really well against Liverpool every time we've played them last season.
True.
True.
We probably should have beaten them. I feel almost all
Super
of them,
Cup.
except for the
Super
last
Cup
one.
special.
Super Cup for sure. Except for the last one where we got thumped 5-3. Even that, we were coming back. So, look, boys, if there was a particular moment, I think my moment would be, I guess, right at the end. When we started the restart, the match against Manchester City for me was a good moment when we beat them 2-0. The way we played, we showed. A lot of people will say that, that was park the bus. No, it wasn't park the bus. We actually played with a lot of possession at the back when we had the ball, and we drew them in, and then we hit them with the counter with pace. Right. I think that showed a lot of confidence to me that this team will go a long way. And, Frank will develop as well. As Tom was saying, we're getting the defensive coach coming through next season. So Frank, he's a smart guy. A lot of people don't tend to understand the fact that he's getting Ziyech, who's a fantastic winger. Believe me, if you guys have watched, I'm sure you boys have all watched Ziyech.
Yeah.
I've been watching him for the past 3 seasons. Fantastic. Timo Werner, one of the best strikers in Germany. Kai Havertz is pretty much done. So he's getting these players, and he's also recognizing the fact that there is a defensive issue. So let's try and get someone to help me out. So he's a smart individual. He knows where he needs improvement, and I'm very certain that come next season it will get better. The season after it will get even better, and then until it gets to a point where it's just always great, and we as Chelsea fans will never have anything to complain about.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully.
Rafi, you have to say something. You can join, please.
Yeah, sure. Before putting Lampard under the magnifying glass, how he ended, I would rather ask your fans a question that had it been someone else, what would we expect from him? So, did you expect anything better with this state of players? Could some other manager do something better than this? I have this question to all the fans, because I personally think what we achieved in the end, it wasn't less in any way. And in fact, being very honest, at some point I didn't expect the top 4 finish at all. In fact, but we ended up reaching to the FA Cup final. So I will just put it in that way that we might have achieved things more than we expected in this season even. There were some decisions, there were some moments which didn't go in our way, but that happens. As Miss said, that happens with every manager. So what Lampard did in his very first season with the same set of players, which a lot of other coaches faced problems, different level of problems, and he still ended finishing the top 4, and we reached in the FA Cup final. So to me, it was a very good aspect from him. Yeah.
So I'll start if that's okay. With regards to
sure.
if there was anyone else, I think had the club continued the way they were hiring managers, which was often go to one of the best clubs in Europe or go to an up-and-coming club in Europe, take their manager and basically tell them that they have to do it the club's way, a little bit like they did with Conte, with Sarri, even with Mourinho the second time, where they tried to bend over backwards to give him a bit more autonomy. I don't think we'd have done quite so well, because we, as a fan base, are used to managers making excuses, managers saying, I haven't had a transfer window, I haven't had this backing, I haven't had that. Frank Lampard And this has been a whole season now he's been in charge. I haven't heard that once. And for me,
Right.
that is the most refreshing thing. The fact
Exactly.
that when the journalists give him the chance, they say, oh, you haven't had a transfer window, is fourth realistic or whatever. Lampard says, I'm not going to use that and I'm never going to use that. And that, for me, is just the antidote to, I suppose, the moaning manager that we've had in the past. And
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to say that nobody else could have done what Frank's done, because I think had they hired a sensible coach, I'm not going to say an English coach, but a sensible coach of a
Right.
similar or slightly different mold, that success could have come. But I think it would have been a lot less likely than with Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Like I highly doubt if players like Mount or Rhys James, they would even been featured. I highly doubt they would get the game time that got this season.
I think what I'll say is that. Sorry, Tom, to jump in. I think what I'll say is that I would actually go as far to say that I don't think anyone else would have done better. I tweeted this straight after when Manchester City lost and Pep Guardiola was out of the Champions League. I tweeted something saying that had Pep, I said, I think when you look at both the teams and you look at both the managers, I feel Frank had a better season than Pep Guardiola. Even though Manchester City was second and they reached the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but I feel a squad like Manchester City with a manager of the caliber of Pep Guardiola, should be winning everything. But Frank, with what he had, I don't think any other manager, and you guys can argue as much as you can, I don't think any other manager would have done better for Chelsea the way Frank has done. And as you guys have been saying that, players like Mason Mount, Reece James, all of these players, Frank knows them to the core. Frank knows these youth players very well. Then he's got the assistant coach, Jody Morris, who knows them as well. So all of this together, made this season the way it is. Had it been someone like Allegri, we were touted with Allegri, I don't think he would have even lasted half the season. I think he would have just said, you know what, get out of here. I'm out of here. Like, I can't handle this. Give me resources, give me money, give me this transfer ban. So, I don't think anyone else would have accepted this job. And kudos to Frank, who's come in, knew there was a transfer ban, and as Tom said, no excuses. Never ever was he saying that, I need this, I need that, this. He just went out there. He knew his team was good enough to compete, and in fact, we should have won a lot more. We lost a few games that we probably shouldn't have. So for me, I don't think anyone else would have done better.
That's very I think what Muse and Tom said. Like Frank Lampard in a press conference, it was very refreshing. He had anything negative, he always shielded his player. He always shielded his players, his board, his club. Always he whenever he lost, he said it's my fault. It's man up to say I have to improve. I have to differently. I have to think another thing. I have to. We will do better next time. But he never said this player. I don't have these resources. I have this player injured. They played less matches. They have more time to train. I have less time to train. This type of thing. That was very good of his handling of English press. The Chelsea managers always have tough time in press. They always have very tough times. They give tough questions and something like that. But Lampard's handling of press, and he's a manager of 2 seasons. It's very commendable.
I'll ask anyone on here and any of the viewers, if any of you can answer this, tell me, because I genuinely can't remember it. Can any of you or anyone tell me one occasion this season where Frank Lampard has got angry with a journalist or has been genuinely angry or upset in a press conference?
Yeah.
And you think, Sarri getting the translator out and having to go, these players are captivate.
Yeah.
Conte saying constantly about the transfers in the board. Mourinho saying that the players have betrayed their work. We can go back further and further, and every manager you can bring up a famous rant. But Frank Lampard, not one.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's one moment. I mean, not like that. I mean, just in the, I think with the defeat versus the Sheffield United away. I mean, he came and he said that,
Yeah.
yeah, I learned a lot about today, like something like that. Okay, that's fair enough because that was a very crucial game for us. I mean, we couldn't afford to lose, but we lost the game, and in fact, it was the luck that United dropped points that we still in the game for the top four.
But you know what, Adnan, that game, Frank was right to say that because that was our worst game in the season. That was
Yeah,
by far
That's
Absolutely.
by
the
far.
Absolutely.
worst game. I think every fan will tell you they were shocked at the end of the game that what just happened. So I think Frank was right to be saying that, I learned a lot today, and I've learned a lot of the players, what they're up to. So very understandable.
And it
Yeah,
wasn't
if I remember it correctly, I just turned off the game for 10 minutes. I couldn't take it. Honestly, I couldn't take it for the moment. So I just turned off the screen for 10 minutes and returned back after that. So it was so much to
And
take.
I suppose it's worth saying as well, it was our worst game and it was his worst game.
Yeah.
That's for
Lampard
sure.
Yeah,
didn't know
absolutely,
what to
absolutely,
do.
absolutely. Yeah,
I think-
we shouldn't be playing with Tammy that day. I mean, Tammy was starting that day, right? I mean, Giroud was on the bench. I mean, the starting was there was some noise regarding that.
And also the formation, we didn't match them. We played 4-3-3 against the very, very solid 5-2, 5-2-3-1 or whatever it is that we play, that they play with. So yeah, we didn't match them. We really should have matched them.
Right.
And the fact
Tom,
that
sure. Please, you carry on, Tom.
Well, I was just going to say, the fact that he changed it 3 times in the middle of the game, and each time he couldn't settle on what he wanted, so he had the 2 up front, he went back to 1 up front. And I think when he said he learned a lot, it was revealing, because I think there was a big element of him saying, I got it wrong today. And that's what, again, all I want to hear. I don't want excuses about plans or anything. Because if he improves, fine. Every manager has a horrible game like that. Pep had it against Everton in his first year. Lost 4-0. Everyone has those games. But Lampard admits that he's learned a lot, not just about him, about the players, but about himself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a situation in the season when it was for us to choose Giroud over Tammy, right? I mean, he was having some blank in some games. Then Frank actually benched Giroud for quite some time. No, I mean after the January, I mean he was getting regular matches. And how you see the impact of Giroud? I mean, how actually he was supposed to leave on January, then he stayed, and then he is scoring goals till the end of the season, and he actually scored more goals than Tammy Abraham. I mean, how you see that, Tom? I mean, how is the impact of Giroud to Chelsea from Project Restart?
Huge. We wouldn't have got top 4 without him. I'm happy to say that. There are other players we wouldn't have got top 4 without, but Giroud is absolutely one of those players, and that's the highest compliment I can give him. To be honest, we could not have done what we did without that man.
He was decisive for us. He was decisive.
And Miz, you're gonna tell us something regarding that.
Yeah, look, I think here's my take on the whole Giroud thing. I see a lot of people, even today when I tweeted a few things about Frank Lampard, many people came into the replies and said, "Oh, but what about his attitude towards Giroud?" I think us fans, we need to understand that when a manager comes in, they have a philosophy. They have a certain way how they want to play. Sarri came in last season and he straight away categorically said no to Cahill. Whether it was right or wrong, that's obviously up for us fans to debate on. But that's what the manager believed, that player is not going to give him the kind of game play that he wants. So similarly, when Frank came in, I think he wanted to play with the high energy, high tempo. he just didn't see Giroud fitting that particular mold. Someone who's going to be running, coming deep, linking up, who's going to run a lot. He obviously he had a vision that I need someone who's going to be running. I need this team that's going to outrun the opposition. And he thought that players like Tammy and Batshuayi could do the trick. And then obviously, and here's the thing where people don't understand, that he understood that no, maybe my philosophy could be tweaked. Maybe I don't need everyone to run. I can have Mason and Willian and Barkley run around Giroud and have Giroud feed off these guys. He's a great link-up person. He'll just combine everyone together. So we need to praise the fact that Frank realized it as well, that he's the man that I can tweak my formation around. Now, a lot of fans will come around and say, oh, but we knew that. I knew that. Oh, how come Frank can't see that? It's not about that. We need to appreciate that every manager has a different philosophy. He tried something, didn't work, tried something else, and it worked. And it's as Tom was saying, and all you guys have been saying, that I think without Giroud, we would not have got top four. I know a lot of other players played really well, but it's not even about his goals. Honestly, it's not even about his goals. I think it's about his ability to bring the whole team together. He got the best out of Mason Mount. He got the best out of Willian. He got the best out of Pulisic. He got the best out of Ross Barkley, who's been poor. So that shows what type of a striker Giroud is and why he's France's number one, still at this point of time, as opposed to Benzema, I suppose.
Right.
True.
Yeah, and Tom, I just need to ask you, if particularly I ask you, do you think that there are some youth came from the academy to main squad? I mean, the main 11 which played Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and then Premier League. That is Mason Mount, then Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Billy Gilmore. So these kids were a bit regular, right? So I know everybody said Mason Mount, but do you think, apart from these four, I mean, do you see any other top performer coming next season? I mean, how this season panned out? Do you think among these four, Billy Gilmore, Mason Mount, Tammy, and Reece James, do you think next season who will going to be making much more impact, including Mason Mount, I should say?
So in terms of the kind of Chelsea products, the Cobham products, I would want to... I actually think Tomori's going to have a big season. I don't think he's going out on loan. For some reason, I could be wrong, but I just think Lampard likes Tomori too much to send him to Liga for a loan. But again, he might go next week and I'll look very silly. But put that out there. I don't know things, so don't say that. I think Ethan Ampadu, another one. He's not exactly a Cobham graduate. He came from Exeter, but he could well be exactly what we need in the defence or the defensive midfield, because he can do either. So those two would be two really big ones I'd look at. I'd love to see Broja have a big season at Vitesse. I wonder whether Angelin will be able to stay and get some minutes at Chelsea, or if he'll be moving on. But those two are the two that I particularly look at and think these guys can really make it next season.
I see. Miz, what about you? You think anybody else? I mean, Tomori is very good. He was very good. Somehow he missed out with some injury since the project restarted, but he was really good. I mean, he's a ball-playing centre back out there with Christensen and Rudiger. So what about him and rest of the others?
I'm not so optimistic as Tom. I think Tomori is going to go, guys. From what I'm sort of hearing and talking to a few other people, and with the likes of Thiago Silva coming in, and the people like your Chelsea correspondents like Liam Toomey and Matt Law talking about how Andreas Christensen is still touted by many Chelsea hierarchies to be that world-class defender that we all want him to be, but we have not seen that the consistency of that. We've seen against Manchester City, he played out of his mind. But we've not seen that game after game after game. So I think we are going to get someone experienced in the centre back position, because Frank, he wants someone. He wants a leader over there. I think we've got too many defenders that are, I like to say secondary. They're not really primary defenders. They're not leaders. They're someone you want to have with a Virgil van Dijk type of defender. Right. So you have Virgil van Dijk, and then you might have Zuma. You might have Virgil van Dijk, and then you might have Andreas Christensen. So we have a secondary type of defender. So we need a strong defender. So I think Thiago Silva, boys, I think will happen. And if that happens, I think the player that will go out is probably Tomori. I honestly cannot see how you sell Rudiger, because he's not sellable. Unfortunately, you can't sell him. He's not attractive enough to be sold. That's how I feel. There is rumors that he could go back to Germany and whatnot. So yeah, to go back to the point, I think Tomori is probably going to go. So I don't know how, he may have a good season, wherever he goes. But for me, the player that's going to shine from the group of players that you were talking about, Adnan, is I think Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount, he will take his game to a different level. And next season, I kid you not, all the fans that were talking down about him are going to start singing about him. I mean, we already are singing about him because we see how good he is. But all the ones that didn't believe in him, trust me, this season, this guy is going to go the next level. And he's going to start blowing people's mind, I'm telling you. We're talking about Ziyech, we're talking about Werner, we're talking about Kai Havertz. I'm telling you, Mason Mount is someone who could probably eclipse all of these people. And don't be surprised one bit. Don't be surprised one bit.
Right.
Great comment.
Yeah, he's talking about that.
I'm still recovering from that.
Don't sell Tomori.
Yeah, I mean, let's go to the next phase of this discussion. I mean, if I put you to name one player, I mean, he's the player of the season for Chelsea this season. I mean, the season that ended. Who will be your player of the season, Tom?
Oh, I've been asked this so many times, and it doesn't get any easier. That's the thing. Kovacic.
Okay. Miz.
This is controversial, boys. This is very controversial. I think the fan favorite is Kovacic, but honestly, I don't think it's as clear cut as Kovacic. I know he's been, I know he's been good. I know if you look at the time just before the restart, he's been our best midfielder. I've even said many times when Frank was leaving him outside of the team and not starting, I'd say that what's going on, he's our best midfielder. But we need to also consider the restart period. That restart period, I think we had 10 games, or how many games did we have? 10 or something like that.
10 games.
We need to consider those 10 games as well. And when you consider all of that 10 games and what happened previously as well and combine them together, honestly, guys, Azpilicueta's name comes up several times as someone who's been very, very consistent for us in the back, in the defensive line. He's provided many assists as well. And also, I would have to say players like Mason Mount. Mason Mount has been fantastic. I think people expect a lot of goals and assists, but they forget the fact that his availability, being able to be fit for so long and play almost nearly 60 games when everyone around him was getting injured left, right, and center, is an ability itself. So I think these two names definitely come up for me. For me, I think I'd say Azpilicueta. If I was to say someone, I would have to say Azpilicueta.
Rafi, who's your pick?
Well, it's a bit funny, but because I have been following Kovacic for quite some time. In fact, from his Madrid days, and when the rumor of his loan spell came here, and later on when we proceeded with his buying, there was a buzz in our official community that do we need him. So a few of us were really shouting and trying to defend. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. and I am very happy that he proved us right, and he actually made himself worth it. So actually, my player of the pick player will be Kovacic too.
Kovacic. Nafis.
মানে my pick is actually it's in between Mason Mount and Kovacic. What Miss said, like before the project restart, Kovacic was by far the best or something like that. But after restart and overall, if you think the impact of the what you can do in a short spell or like within 1 month or 1.5 months, playing 7, 8 or 10 around 10 games, like in that time there are few players who outsmart or outbeat everyone. So like it's I think overall, if I think it's a debut season or everything regarding that, I think Mason Mount for me.
Okay.
But it's a
Okay,
very
my
close,
vote also.
like 99 and 100.
Good
Okay,
answer. Good
my
answer,
vote
Nafis.
is
Very
my
good.
vote. My vote is going to Kovacic, but I really like to give it to Christian Pulisic because he was tremendous since he started. I mean, the project restart. I mean, Pulisic has been running the show. He's looked like we got the clone of Eden Hazard in the left wing. He's running behind the
True.
defender now. Absolutely buzzing. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, yes, he had some injuries and all issues. Otherwise, I mean, he would have been perfect for us. I mean, if he played a whole season. So, Tom, we go move to the very famous segment. I mean, lots of comment regarding is only for transfer. Where is Kai Havertz? Why he's hiding? So you and me tell us what happening with Kai. I mean, yes, we all know it's very close to be completed, but why it's taking time? I mean, why it's not happening as we thought? I mean, why it's not close as much we thought? I mean, it's taking a bit time. I mean, what kind of deals goes through like this? I mean, when you get ready a big transfer, what are the components? I mean, what do you need to make and show? How do you approach with the buyer? I mean, they are the seller, obviously, and you have to respect their way of dealings as well. So, what is takes on overall Kai Havertz situations?
So at first, I'll say we might be waiting a while longer because once he gets to the UK, he probably has to quarantine for 2 weeks. So don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the announcement video will be like a Zoom call. It'll be from his living room.
Right.
But I'll say that for one. Second, I would say the thing with Havertz is Leverkusen know that there's only interest from Chelsea. That means essentially they can't play us off against other buyers to increase that price quickly. So Leverkusen and Rudi Voller can't say to Marina, okay, if you don't pay 85 million, we'll just give him to Bayern Munich or we'll just give him to Real Madrid, who will. So whenever it's a one-on-one situation, there's one seller and there's one buyer. Time is clearly not an issue because the window's open till mid-October. It's currently, mid-August, end of August. Leverkusen are in absolutely no hurry to do anything. They can literally wait for Chelsea to go to fret over it. They probably like the reaction that our fans are having, which is kind of melting down and going, is it going to happen, isn't it? For them, there's no rush. So Marina's got to play it cool and not just stump the money up and go, okay, bye. Because otherwise we will be paying well over the odds. So that's why I think it's taking a bit longer. With Werner, it was slightly different because it was very early. There was obviously a lot of clubs, some other clubs involved until the very end. So it doesn't disturb me that Havertz is taking this time. It doesn't surprise me either, knowing the kind of dynamics of negotiation in that way. I think Leverkusen are coming close to getting what they considered to be their minimum target, which I think is about 85. 85 million pounds, I think 90 million euros. But the delay's not that surprising given the circumstances. Of course they were going to say we want him to play Europa League because that makes Chelsea immediately up the offer. You then get, of course, they're going to say, oh, he's not going to leave. We'd like him to stay another year. Again, because it gives that outside option that he's not definitely leaving the club. So nothing to worry about. It will happen in my view. But the fact it's taking time isn't anything that would worry me in that way.
Yeah, I mean, today Christian Falk, I mean, he's saying that Chelsea. He said, I mean, he's quoting another journalist. He said that Leverkusen admitted they are in discussion again because Chelsea is supposed to make a bid yesterday night again, the new bid, and they're discussing on that. I mean, if you are not rejecting that, if you are not discussing on that, that means that the bid that made it is actually matching their demand. I mean, there is something like some add-ons and all. I mean, it is very coming to a very closure, right? I mean, they are not rejecting it, but they are discussing on that.
Tom, do you want Tom to answer, or you want
No.
me to answer?
I was going to put it to you, mate.
So just to get back to, so I'll answer that, but I'll just to go back as to why this is taking time. With Werner, he had a release clause. Whenever a player has a release clause, it's easy to. So if you trigger a release clause, the club really has nothing to say anymore, because this is the whole reason the players put a release clause, that they know that eventually they want to leave, right? So, Werner, as soon as you triggered that 60 million release clause, that's it. See you later, Leipzig. We've done it, and this is why Liverpool was waiting, because they couldn't afford the 60 million. They were waiting for one more season where the release clause comes down to 45 million, or I think 40 million, and then they would go and get the player, because the player was interested in Liverpool in the first place. We need to understand, but Chelsea saw an opportunity, a window of opportunity here that, wait on. Yes, Liverpool wants to wait, but maybe we can just jump in here. And this is where Frank called up and he explained the whole project. And Timo Werner straight away said, I'm down. I'm down to be part of this project. And Chelsea paid the release clause, and that's it. Leipzig out of the window, and Werner straight away within the 24 to 48 hours he was our player. With Kai Havertz, he does not have a release clause. I think his contract is up to 2023 or 2024, so it's a very long contract as well.
Yeah,
24.
Long contract, yeah.
So Leverkusen knows he is their number one asset of the club. They're not selling this particular. They're not advertising. Come and buy Kai Havertz. We are selling him. They're not doing that. So we are actually showing interest. So they know that if you want to buy Kai Havertz, you're going to have to give us what we value this player. So they value this player at, I think, 90 million. It started off with 100 million. Because you think about it, and we spoke to a particular Leicester journalist not that long ago, and he had the best explanation for this about Chilwell's deal. He was saying, say, for example, you have a house, you have a property that is not in the market. You're not selling it, but there's a particular buyer that's interested to buy that particular house and comes up to you and gives you market value. You're not going to sell that particular house because that house is not for sale. If you want to buy it, you need to give me more than the market value. You need to give me an offer that is unbelievable, so I sell this property to you. So I think this is why we are seeing the tug of war at the moment, where we all know Marina, she's a very, very astute financial controller. She doesn't just give up, okay, so you want 100 million? Here it is, 100 million. Yeah. She doesn't do that. So she negotiates, and that's why we are seeing the back and forth. Look, guys, it's going to happen because there is, as Tom said, there is the one buyer here, and that's Chelsea. And at the same time, it is also the interest of Bayer Leverkusen to sell this player in this window because they're going to get the best money now. They're not going to get this kind of money next window because next window, this money becomes half that. And then you have, Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or whoever else will come in and buy him for half the price. So they know they want to get this player sold this window, but at the same time, they want to get, somewhere close to the 100 mil, 80 mil, 90 mil, whatever, as much as they can, because Leverkusen is not a very rich club in terms of money. So they need all the money that they can squeeze from this and go and replace Kai Havertz down the track with maybe not one player, two players, maybe three players. So this is why we are seeing the tug of war at the moment, boys, but it will happen. It will happen.
Great. Thank you so much, Miz. This is a very deep insight. And
And
Tom,
I would like to add that
yeah,
Havertz has
please.
actually made some public, what I should say, he actually made it clear that he wants to join Chelsea as well. So Chelsea is
Yeah,
in a position as well to pull some tug of war in there. So all these things are making this thing slow. So we should not
yeah.
lose patience, and we just have to wait. We just have to wait. It will be happening soon, anytime soon.
I think this is a very fantastic point that you said. When a player says that he wants to join another club, it's going to happen because there's no point in Leverkusen keeping this player for next season when he's not interested to be part of their club. So this is the biggest positive for us that Kai Havertz wants to join us, wants to train with us ASAP. Look, it's going to happen.
Exactly.
What I'll say as well is in this situation, completely agree. I think the player's head's turned. It's very important. When there's a more early stage of a deal, I often am a bit more skeptical with the player wants to go to X, Y, or Z, because we all thought as of February or March that Timo Werner's his heart was set on Liverpool.
Yeah.
But with this one, clearly we're the only buyer. Kai really wants to join us. It's not just
Right.
a kind of, my weak preference would be no, this is Chelsea, here I come. So I completely agree. In this context,
Right.
it's huge. He's not sat there thinking, oh, I'll just wait till next year if I don't get a buyer. He's thinking, no, I want to go to the big time.
Absolutely. And also he want to pursue his education in Imperial College. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some rumor he's taking admissions to an Imperial College in London, right? I don't know what about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was some tweet regarding that. Yeah,
What if I
Invited
know
him.
there? I'll
Yeah.
have to get them to get him to contact them and contact the admissions office. Is there a Mr.
Get-
Havertz?
Get him enrolled. Get him enrolled.
All right.
Okay, then we go to the most. Between these two, I mean, it was completely done. I mean, it will be just announcing right now, maybe Monday or Tuesday. That is Ben Chilwell. I mean, it's done, right? And it's a fantastic signing for Chelsea. I mean, we're getting him from our rival for top four, who competed us with top four. We are getting their starter. Is English left back. I mean, yes, there are some fans asking that. Yes, Lampard asking Ben Chilwell, why not Reguilon or maybe Nicolas Tagliafico.
Tagliafico.
But yes, Chelsea is an English club, right? I mean, and Lampard do like him. I mean, he and Ashley Cole both is very fond of him, as per I say what their quotes and all. So how you see this, Thomas?
Well, Reguilon was my first choice. I'll put it out there. I'm not going to say suddenly I love Ben. You know, I've always loved Chilwell and he was always my number one, because that's just not true. Reguilon, a number of reasons I really like. But my head was turned on Ben Chilwell when a friend of mine wrote an article using a lot of stats on Ben Chilwell in the Premier League. And it is very clear that he is up there with Alexander-Arnold and with Robertson as to one of the most dynamic, involved, aggressive fullbacks in the Premier League. And I think his style of play with cross passes and balls like that, it fits exactly how Lampard wants to play. And I'll add this, if Frank Lampard wants him, I'm confident that the guy's going to be a hit. So yes, I think it's a very exciting move. And it's an upgrade on Marcus Alonso and Emerson Palmieri, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm very happy about this one.
Miss.
With me, similarly like Tom, I think most of us probably didn't have Ben Chilwell as our number one left back. I probably started knowing about Reguilon once I started seeing Tom really talking highly about him. I started researching a lot about him, started doing the threads, started watching a lot more clips about him, started watching his matches in recent times in Europa Cup. And, he for me, he was my top choice as well. But I think what we need to understand here is that we complain always that, oh, the manager doesn't get back. The manager doesn't get back. He should get his player. He doesn't end up getting his own players. He gets all these. So he wants this player, but he gets that player. So I think we need to understand that Frank. I did a video today about this particular, situation where Chilwell deal is done. As you said, Adnan, it's going to be announced within the next couple of days that it's done and dusted. But behind the scenes, it's 100% done. There's Fabrizio Romano, Nicolas Skira, a few other people have reported that this deal is complete. It's a 5-year contract, I think, and approximately £50 million have been settled on. 45 plus 5 million add-ons or something for Leicester. So it's not the 80 million that was touted and we were all upset about. It's actually 50 million. So I think we need to understand that Frank penciled this particular player down way back in November last year. As soon as he saw that there was issues with our left back position with Alonso and Emerson, him and Ashley Cole especially, they identified Ben Chilwell as the number one left back that will move Chelsea forward. And as you said, Adnan, he's English left back, England number one left back. He's young, he's 23. It's not like he's bad going forward or defensively. Yes, he can improve, and he will improve under the guidance of Frank Lampard and Ashley Cole. And he's a perfect fit in terms of the project. If we think about a project, he's the perfect fit for it for the long run. And yeah, we need to understand, even in the second half of the season when Chilwell wasn't playing that well, we can say that Leicester wasn't playing well and also Chilwell wasn't playing well. Frank and Ashley Cole are not reactionary. They still stuck true to the fact that they believe this is their man for them. So kudos to them. Honestly, I back Frank Lampard. He's got the players like Ziyech, Werner, Kai Havertz. He's going to be soon. So I should back him with his, the taste that he has at the moment. So, I think we should all start appreciating and accepting the fact that Chilwell will be number one left back.
Right. Nafis, you have something to say. I mean, regarding Ben Chilwell, you are a Nicolas Tagliafico fan, as I know. So are you a bit upset on this?
No, regarding upset or something like that, as everyone said regarding that, me also said regarding that. I personally wanted Nicolas Tagliafico because he's experienced. He has European experience. He has played UCL and something like that. He has very good connection with Hakim Ziyech. So these things work. But yeah, so overall he can understand him well and experience wise. But we have to think one thing also. The team Frank wanted to be, it's a young energetic team, English left back. Ashley Cole is with us. Ashley Cole is England's best left back. So they will definitely have a preference to one. If they think that this player has some potential to make my country ahead or move my country ahead, for sure they will pick him. For maybe Tagliafico price will be 30, 35, or maybe I am saying they might get 40 million or something like that. So if it is the difference between 30 million or 45 million, so 15 or 20 million difference, for sure they will I was dead against when they're asking for 80 million or 70 million. So Ben Chilwell for 70 or 80 million will be too pricey for any left back or defender. You buy it's a very tough job. Then they have to think I have one of the expensive left back, highest price left back. This is so much pressure for him. So I guess if it is 45 million plus or 50 million, he don't have that much pressure, and he has one of the best mentor. Frank will be there, Ashley will be there. So in that aspect, I'm very much optimistic about this this transfer. So let's see how it pans out.
Now, Fizz, you don't have to be too upset. Tagliafico is probably going to be in Premier League. He's going to play for Leicester. So you can watch Leicester.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So now come back to the biggest weakest point. I mean, yes, left back is sorted out almost. The weakest link is the centre backs. I mean, the one we have, Rudiger, Christiansen, Tomari, and Zuma. I just going to ask you very shortly that if someone goes out, I mean, surely someone is going out because Thiago Silva is the name that he's been naming for last 3 or 4 days and constantly linked with Chelsea. And yesterday, the PSG, in their official Twitter video, they said this is the last match for our captain. They said it. I mean, they are not giving him the contract, so that means he's leaving. And if he leaves, he has two options. That is Chelsea and Fiorentina. So definitely Chelsea will be easy in his hot shot. I mean, his agent is Phoenix Jahavi, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have a good bonding with Chelsea. So how you see Thiago Silva, age 35 years of age, he's not getting faster any, but he's definitely bringing leadership quality to the defense. He's maybe settling the defense. I mean, there is a leader we lacked in the defense. How you see, this Thiago Silva deals?
I honestly, with all the centre backs that we've been rumored with, and I know Tom's got a different opinion on this. I've seen Tom's video about this, but I honestly feel this is the perfect situation for us, and I'll tell you why. I think our primary target, from reading the articles in The Athletic and a few of the other journalists, what they've been saying, who are much closer to the whole scenario, they've been saying that Frank's number one priority is actually Declan Rice, because he believes Declan Rice can not only play centre back, but he can also play defensive midfield. So he can play the two. And we all know Frank loves the versatility. He wants players to play multiple roles where he can shift and change things around. And it's not, if there's an injury, he doesn't have to rely on just one player. He can sort of mix and match. So he likes the fact that Declan Rice can provide that. However, he also understands that West Ham are going to be very difficult this window. We are already finding it very difficult with Kai Havertz. Obviously, Chilwell's happened. So West Ham, similarly, Declan Rice is contracted till 2023 or 2024. So very long contract with West Ham, and it's going to be another nightmare. So he knows that he doesn't want to get into that tug of war yet. However, he also knows Declan Rice wants to come to Chelsea. So he already has in his head that this player doesn't want to go anywhere else. So we leave him until another year goes by, and then we capture him for less money. West Ham can't do anything about it at that time. And the player will start talking to his club that I want to leave and so on and so forth. And when that happens, it's game over. So whilst that takes place, we still need a short-term fix. And the short-term fix isn't to get Magalhaes, even though Magalhaes would have been a great, defender for us. But he's not the end product right now. For Arsenal, it's a good purchase because him alongside with David Luiz is going to be dynamic for them. Yeah, for Arsenal, that's the perfect selection. And kudos to them, Arsenal has done that. Koulibaly would have been another really, really good choice, but we can't do any deals with Napoli. Napoli is just they don't do deals with us.
They hate us.
They hate us. And now with Koulibaly, with Magalhaes going to Arsenal, they don't have a backup of if they sell Koulibaly, who do they get? And then Lewis Dunk. Lewis Dunk for me was a good shout. I think a lot of people underestimate Lewis Dunk. Lewis Dunk. I kid you not, guys, watch a lot of Brighton matches this season because I will. If Brighton are able to keep Lewis Dunk and Ben White in their centre-back position, I'm telling you, Brighton's going to be a very, very good defensive team. These two pairing are going to be very, very good, I think, personally. So, and also a lot of the top journalists that are linked with Brighton and report to The Athletic have been saying that the rumours with Dunk is actually... the inside people know that it's not true. It's very, very low possibility. So having said all of that, Thiago Silva is the best signing for us. He's Copa America champion, Italian champion, several times French champion. You would have seen the thread I did just a few days ago against Atalanta, what he did. I'm just about to finish my thread on Leipzig, what he did. I'm blown away by this particular player who's 36 next month, and he is still so strong. He is vocal. the leadership experience, the wealth of experience in big matches. He's played 8 Champions League matches this season. Only missed 2 Champions League matches,
2 Champions Leagues,
and one was due to being injured, and the other one they tied it all up in the group stage. So it wasn't necessary for him to play. But this is the exact centre back that we need. Alongside,
Right.
can you imagine Thiago Silva alongside either Zuma or Andres Christensen? Zuma and Andres Christensen are going to start looking like world class alongside him. So we need this particular defender to make our other defender better. And honestly, if we get Thiago Silva, we are going to be a very, very difficult team to beat next season.
Yes, Thomas, you can say now. The Miss done his part. So you can say, what do you want, Thiago Silva, or do you want?
So anyone who wanted a big debate is going to be let down here, because I agree with pretty much everything Miz has just said. My main problem with Thiago Silva coming was that I didn't think the club would go anywhere near it. I thought Marina would be very reluctant with a player that age. I thought the prospect of a 2-year deal would be a huge stumbling block and one that the club wouldn't entertain. I know how good the guy is, and Miz's threads show it. My previous experience shows it. Another example here shows it. David Luiz left Chelsea possibly being laughed at as quite a poor defender. I know most of us seasoned followers wouldn't have said that. All the press said it. He comes back to Chelsea 2 years later, and he's considered by most one of the best defenders in the league. Who trained him in those 2 years? Thiago Silva. The guy knows ball. And he has the ability to turn us into a top team. Now, I possibly wasn't as quick or as sharp to the game as to think that the reason they're doing this is Declan Rice. Because I, like you, and like most people on here, want Declan Rice. But the fact is, I'm now agreeing with a lot of you that next year is the best time for us to get him. There's no point in spending over the odds on him now. And I suppose the only reason I also might have been slightly upset, although now I think I'm not, Jose Maria Jimenez. I was really eager for him. But the more I think about it, Thiago Silva's not injury prone. He's experienced. He's been there. He's done it. To be honest with you, I've been sold on him because I'll produce a video when I first see some news. And sometimes I'll think a bit harder and I'll come to a more reasoned view. And I think on this one, the more I think, the more happy I am that this is going to probably happen.
I see. One thing just to add with you, Tom, regarding Silva. I mean, if we offer him 2 years, I mean, next season we'll be in 4 competitions, right? I mean, in the Champions League, we have Premier League, we have Carabao Cup starting from 4th round, and then we have FA Cup. I mean, we have so many matches. Can we really rely him for like whole season? He's 36 already. I mean, the fatigue and the fitness is really is a tough one for Chelsea, no?
Well, I would say to that, I agree he can't play every game. He'll probably won't play Carabao Cup. FA Cup, a lot of it will be in the week. I don't think he'll play a lot of those either. Look at the likes of Bonucci, Chiellini, Barzagli. They were playing until they were 39. He's only 36. I'm not going to say that we should rely on him as our star defender, but I don't think it's as big of a concern for a centre-back as some people are saying. If it were a centre forward or a winger, completely agree with you. But as a centre back, particularly given the way we play, doesn't bother me. Not really. It's not a problem that will make me lose sleep anyway.
I think we also. Sorry, Nafis.
Yeah, Miss, you can. No, you Miss, you can carry on.
I was just going to say that I think we need to start realizing that Thiago Silva is probably in the same sort of similarity of the Ronaldos and the Messis in terms of fitness ability. I think these players can play for a very long time. And as Tom was saying, as a centre back, you don't need to run around so much. You need to think quicker, and you'll see how he's been defending against Atalanta and Leipzig the last two matches, he thinks so much quicker than some of these very fast wingers and strikers. He catches them out. He catches them out because he sees the play quicker. And it's all his experience. And this,
Right.
alongside Zuma or Christensen, is going to be exactly what we need. So I think he definitely has another good, probably a year or 2 years in him
Yeah.
until we can get Declan Rice.
Agreed.
And it's really not how many matches he can play, it's how better we can utilize him. So,
Correct.
as you already said, that his inclusion is not necessary for us as a defender, but as a leader, and how our other defenders will evolve under
Correct.
him. So that's the
Correct.
main reason we need him, I believe.
Right.
Correct.
Nafis,
Yeah,
Nafis, you going to say?
and that's the what Rafi said. That's the point I want to add, because in our team, like if you think of our defenders, Tomori, Zoma, Christensen, and Rudiger. Rudiger, although he's a bit old, but all are not leader. They don't have the leadership qualities. They need someone to partner who will tell them, go there, go mark this man, mark here, stay up front, stay backward. Also previously we had the leader like Czech or something, like who can lead the line or something like that. When there were any free kick or something like that, they can. So we need one leader who can arrange these blocks, where will players will be, who will be defending whom. And it is very much important, because our most of the goals nearly we consider this, it's because not that we are playing bad or we are playing, it's playing our defenders are shaky. They are thinking what we will do. Do we tackle him, or do we not? Do we mark him, do we not? But a
Confused.
structure,
Yeah.
a structure like a player like Silva will solidify the overall. He will train or something. It's like, it's not that you have to play every game. The presence of this type of players, players like when Lampard came, every academy player got buzzed, because they know that Jody is there, Lampard is there. They might have now a realistic chance to be in. So every player is so much buzz. So when like a player like Silva is be in dressing room, all the defenders, so like there is a father figure type player, so
Yeah.
who can teach me, who can when I'm down, who can tell me whenever I made mistakes and something like that. So like this is very important. Like we are talking about, we need a defensive coach, we need
Right.
defensive something like that. But a player like Silva, who has over 400 games, who play, he's the captain of Brazil team, who's the captain of PSG, who have played in numerous big team and top clubs. So he has a
Right.
vast experience, or how to mark player, how to deal with the pressure of something like that, how to deal with finals, how to deal with crunch matches. So it will be very beneficial for our young defenders. So Tomori,
Right.
whoever, Christensen, Zoma, like it's defending is always a pair. If you lacking in pace, or someone someone is faster, like Zoma, Christensen is very fast. Like so they can, and also Rudiger is also fast. It's a pair, they can easily outsmart and everything like that. And the bench presence of and the dressing room presence will be very good for it. Because Lampard numerous times has said, like there are he don't feel voices in his field. There are lack of voices. The player don't man up or something like that. He said in a few of the interviews or something like that, he needs more leaders from his teams. So Thiago Silva will give him this type of leadership from his defense.
Yes, Tom, you would like to say
Yeah. So another point I'd want to make, to add both to Nafis and to Miz as well, the addition of Thiago Silva is going to make whoever the goalkeeper is, he's going to make their life so easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeper, I think it's going to be one where if you know you've got a leader who's marshalling the defense in front of you, you're going to feel more able to communicate to come
Communicate.
out, and you know you've got an organized unit in front of you rather than four individuals who really look a bit shaky at times and don't look solid. So the goalkeeper's got to often swipe, mop it up in the way that Kepa wasn't a leader in that way. But to have Thiago Silva in the heart of the defence means that whoever is in goal is going to have a much more achievable ride next season, and I don't think we'll see the goalkeeping mistakes, I think they're called, if we have a stronger defence and a stronger character in defence.
Okay, here we're going to take some questions, and you guys better answer it in rapidly. I mean, here is a question you can see. This is for you, Tom. Do you think he can match the intensity of the Premier League? And we all know how fast opponents are in the Premier League. Do you think Thiago Silva at the age of 35, 36, he can match it?
Yes. That's
Yes.
all I can say. Yes. He's of the top tier. Absolutely, yes.
Great. And regarding that, this is a question from our fan. If Silva could not be on the pitch for a long run of the matches, doesn't mean that we have to change the pair frequently. He's talking about the pair. I mean, yes. I mean, we rotate a lot. That cost us some matches last season. I mean, do you think he should be playing most of these matches? I mean, absolutely key matches.
Yeah.
Actually, no one can play. Like if you see the fixture list of the next season, it's like chaotic. That's the word I will use. It is chaotic. I mean, every day you have mid like around, I guess, 15 or 20 mid season like weekend and midday games. So like midweek games. So like the juggling and this type of things will be happen very frequently. So like if it is Thiago Silva or something, every team has to juggle. So like if it is Thiago Silva or any player, no player can play like, so it won't be a problem for any player in or for Chelsea for me.
Right. Tom, now
And
the
Tom.
burning issue, we discussed about this, we discussed about defenders, we discussed about Declan Rice. Do you actually see Declan Rice happening this season, Tom and me? I asked you both. Do you see Declan Rice happening this season? Because there is still some strong sources saying Chelsea going to offer a cash plus player. I mean, the player who we can offer them is Ross Barkley, maybe, right? Or Michy Batshuayi. Do you really think that Rice is going to be joining this season? If we sell Jorginho.
Tom, you go first.
Yeah, I'll say no. I think there are a number of reasons that cash plus player won't work because West Ham won't pay Batshuayi's wages.
Right.
Barkley, I don't reckon they'll pay over probably 100 grand a week, 100,000 a week for Ross Barkley. And I don't think Chelsea will want to stump 60, 70, 80 million for him this window because, these teams, these generational shifts in teams, they don't happen in one transfer window. So I'd love Declan Rice. Even if we get rid of Jorginho, I don't think we should pay over the odds for Declan Rice this window. It might be an unpopular opinion, but if we get rid of Jorginho, two words come to mind: Ethan and Padu.
Ethan and He said that he's going to fight for the squad, no? Ethan and Padu. He's not going to loan.
Yeah. I don't want Rice for way over the odds if we get rid of Jorginho for that reason.
I see. Miss?
I think here's my theory about the whole thing. We are linked with Thiago Silva. So that centre-back position has now been taken away. And that's one of the positions that Declan Rice probably would have played. We've had Ethan Ampadu coming out publicly and saying that he doesn't want to go anywhere. He's staying right here and he wants to fight for his position. So there's another player that is capable of playing defensive midfield and centre-back. And we have seen Ethan Ampadu, how well he can play in the centre-back position. We've seen that against Spurs when he played for Leipzig. He was phenomenal. And he's a Welsh international as well, playing in the defensive midfield, and he does it very, very well for them. Similarly, like Declan Rice does all the little things very well, not flashy, not anything, just little passes, and defensively solid. So these two things lets me think that I don't think Declan Rice is happening this window. It will happen. It will happen, I think.
Yeah,
It
agreed.
just won't happen this window. Now, having said that, I know all of you guys follow Alex Goldberg and his byline and his podcast. And here's the twist. I listen a lot of his stuff, and he's definitely someone who knows a lot of things internally because he talks to a lot of Chelsea people. So I'm starting to think he's a lot more closer to the whole thing than Fabrizio Romano and Matt Law and all the other. I think
Right.
Alex Goldberg is probably the closest of everyone out there. He knows a lot of stuff. It's just sometimes he can't say it out because you can't be saying all that kind of stuff out. But he does drop hints. And the recent hint that he's been dropping is about Declan Rice. Now, if you guys have followed his podcast, you would have known he's been hinting about Kai Havertz a long time ago. He's been recently hinting about Ben Chilwell for the past 3-4 weeks. Every podcast he did a video as well, and now we have done Ben Chilwell. So he's just started talking about Declan Rice, which makes me think, can the unbelievable actually happen? But we are running out of time, obviously. So for me, as I said, as I agree with Tom as well, that I don't personally think it will happen because of the other things that are happening. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah, there is a one thing regarding that, because Leverkusen has given a 28 to 28 August deadline or something like that. They want to fix the deal or something like that. Chilwell is nearly down. I guess after the today's match, like Silva might also say when it is my last game, thank you and everything. He will decide afterwards to Chelsea. This after, I guess, if these 3 deals are closed this week, by this week, not the announcement, the negotiation and something like that part. So Chelsea or if our finances are okay to have a player part or something like that, if you can spare 40 million and then we add a few players or something like that, so and then we have full around 1 month to pursue. Because I think what we are hearing there, we might not go for any keeper, or if we go, it's it won't be for some big money keepers or something like that. This will be a very cheap goalkeeper within 15-20, maybe something like that. So there might be given we have still we have the finances, or we have the budget to include this. We have technically we have around 1 month to complete Declan Rice. I think in Declan Rice will be around last week of transfer. If we can able to pull it off, it's a last week of transfer window type signing. Not we can sign him early or something like that. We have to haggle, and finally we will, because buying as there is a very enmity and close door neighborhood for the West Ham. So West Ham selling their one of the star players or club captain to us, that will be very negative press for them also. So it will be very tough negotiation for this aspect from also.
I don't see anything tough for Chelsea, because if we can bring Fernando Torres in January, anything is possible. It's my
Exactly.
So Tom, I'm going to ask you the big question. That is the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is Kepa. Kepa going to stay? Or are we getting a new goalkeeper?
So, my view on this fluctuates a bit, not on my view on Kepa as such, but on what I think the club are going to do. What I would like to see us do is pay 20 million for either Emi Martinez, Sergio Romero, or Mendy from the
Rennes.
Yes, Rene rather.
Rennes.
Yeah, I would have gone for Rashkovic, but some saying that that's not on because of the amount of fees being asked for.
Yeah.
And I think having them as I don't want to say second choice exactly, but as competition for Kepa and somebody who can come in and be an actual backup keeper rather than Caballero, who we all like.
Yeah.
Is he much better even than Kepa at the moment? I'd say probably not. If we can have somebody like that, I think one, it means that we're not short in the goalkeeper department. Two, it means I believe Kepa will step up if he knows that there's someone behind. And three, we know if he doesn't step up, we've got a goalkeeper who we can kind of blood into becoming a number one. It means that we don't have to spend 70, 80 million like City and Liverpool did for Ederson and Alisson. But that's only my opinion.
Yeah, Miss, do you think? Do you see Kepa staying in Chelsea this season?
Yeah, this is tough. Probably 2 weeks ago, I would have said I don't see him staying. There was a podcast that Fabrizio Romano was part of, the Beautiful Game podcast, where he said that he got knowledge from Chelsea that Kepa's not going to be part of next season at all. He was told by someone internally that Frank Lampard has this particular goalkeeper not part of this setup next season. So I think Frank has made his decision. We saw that he dropped Kepa again for the second time right at the end and brought in Willy Caballero. A lot of the defenders don't find his the lack of being not so commanding in the box. They don't find confidence in him. So
right.
I don't know whether we can offload him. If we do, it'd probably be a loan. But I do think I agree with Tom that we will get another keeper, but it won't be expensive. I don't think it will be what Tom was sort of saying in terms of the Rennes keeper and a few other choices. I think it's probably going to be an English Premier League keeper. It's going to be either Ben Foster or Nick Pope. I think Ben Foster might be a good shout here because he would be on a very discounted price from a Watford team that's been relegated. So we could probably pick up Ben Foster for very cheap. And honestly, he's a shot stopper. And I think what Frank is for the time being looking for is a shot stopper at the very least. And Ben Foster could probably fix that until we can then search our long-term keeper and hopefully, I don't know, we can ship off Kepa.
Can I ask you, Miz, do you reckon we can get Nick Pope on the sheet? Because if it were me, I could only see Burnley parting with Nick Pope for at least the amount Sunderland got to Jordan Pickford. It was, I think, 30 to 35 million.
I think there was a lot of reports that were coming out that he's been touted around 15 million. Now, I don't know the exact ins and outs. Yeah, 15 million pounds.
Oh, we should do it.
Yeah, I think it could be the reason because his contract may be running out. There's not enough time there. And this is probably the only time where Burnley could probably sell him. A lot of these money fluctuations depend a lot on the contract duration and how much time is left. More time means more money. Less time means you're going to get for much cheaper. So, but don't quote me on it. I don't know exact ins and outs, but I saw a lot of reports saying that he's approximately around 15 million. But I think someone like Ben Foster's even less. Probably less than 10 million. So we may go for someone within the Premier League to sort of help us out meanwhile.
Right. There's a very good question from our fan. He said that Chelsea have loaned out the third goalkeeper. That is Cumming. I mean, his name is Jim Cumming. And so we have a hint that we are definitely getting a new goalkeeper. I mean, that your point makes more sense now because we invested so much money on Kepa. We're surely not getting a Oblak, right? The name which is must been talked about. Yeah,
I mean, I think we will sell off Kepa this season because, in fact, I am seeing a loan offer more happening this season if we are willing to offload him in some way. So maybe, as Keith and Tom said, we might get another average keeper in our squad who can at least carry us out in a few matches from some difficult situations. So at best, we might loan out Kepa. I'm not seeing him going out.
Yeah,
see.
absolutely correct, Rafi. I think I agree with you there. Selling Kepa is going to be very difficult. He's got I think 5 more years left in the contract. So
Yeah.
it's going to be very
Right,
difficult.
right.
Going back to what Adnan was saying in terms of release clause, Oblak is a player who I think is now fed up with Atletico Madrid.
Athletic Madrid.
He knows that he is very good and he wants to be in a team. He's been trying so hard with Atletico Madrid to win the Champions League, and I think he's just got to a point that he doesn't want to be in a team that plays like Atletico Madrid anymore. As far as Diego Simeone, he's been such an effective manager in the Champions League, but his style is very, very anti-football. He doesn't play enterprising football. So I think what Oblak is trying to do now is that he's had enough time in Atletico Madrid. He wants to go to a team that will play more attacking style of brand of football, and he knows he's a good shot stopper. So he wants a team that will go out there and win stuff. So he's, I think, trying really hard to make this deal happen, but the 100 million release clause is a lot of money, and I don't know how we do all of this.
I think the only where that might happen if
Right.
Atletico wants to have Kepa in return.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
without that, I don't see it happening, being very honest.
Another thing that might help with that deal, as well as Kepa potentially going the other way, I've heard from a few sources that Atletico are really
Interesting.
struggling with Alvaro
Yeah.
Morata
Finance.
install.
See.
They can't afford it. They apparently they have said they cannot afford to repay the Morata installment.
Right.
True, true.
That
Him,
would be a really big degree of bargaining power over Atletico, because Chelsea can say we can make this problem go away if you
Just give us Oblak.
Yeah, exactly.
And also we can loan you Kepa for one season also.
Exactly. But I think that could be really important if we really want this deal. We really do have bargaining power over Atletico because of those Morata payments. Atletico
Morata
are in
payments, yes.
trouble financially.
Man, Marina
another
is so
player from
smart. Marina is so smart.
I think there might be one possibility that Atletico, if we actually approach for Oblak, what might happen, Atletico might take Kepa on loan for a few seasons. They will see him, watch him, how he gets along. Then they might consider the buying option. Without that, I don't think any other feasible option is going on this plate right now.
Right. And another player we are linked with Atletico is Frank Lampard's very favorite, I guess, is Jimenez. Yeah, the center back. Yeah. So do you see? Actually, people are saying that if we sign Silva, there is still opportunity to get another center back. Do you agree with it?
You want me to go first,
In
Tom,
this
or?
window.
I don't mind, mate. I don't mind.
Yeah.
You've
In
got
this window.
say you go, mate.
Honestly, here's my take on Jimenez. I know he's recently said that he would have loved playing with Frank Lampard, not under Lampard. I think people need to understand the two things. He said with, but nonetheless, he's still flirting with Chelsea. So I think
Right.
he would want to come to us. Now, there was a conversation. I think Matt Law. There was a particular article where he stated that Chelsea do see Jimenez as a particular centre back that could be of the Virgil van Dijk type of stature. He has that physical, ability. He's got that, that brute strength about him. But I don't know, guys. Like, I feel the way Atletico plays, their defenders play, it's a certain structure. It's a certain way they defend. I don't think Frank would necessarily want someone like him who's so just one-dimensional. Whereas someone like, very rigid. Whereas someone like Thiago, who once again is a far more experienced player than Jimenez, and he's not rigid. He's so smart in his mind. Jimenez is not as smart as Thiago as yet. He may become down the track. So I don't think this is more Jimenez wanting, I think, Chelsea as opposed to Chelsea wanting Jimenez. I think Chelsea's first preference is Declan Rice, and I think for the time being, Thiago is probably their best option. I don't think Jimenez is happening.
I see. I see. So, guys, we are
Anyone who
almost
views
1
on
hour and 30
Ben
minutes.
White?
Thank you for your so much time. I know that Miss is getting late. I just take 5 to 10 minutes more for Miss because we are
Yeah,
going
sure,
to
sure.
I'm going to some rapid discussion regarding the departure from the Chelsea. I know we discussed about the incomings. Now the departure. I mean, there are certain players that are going. We know that Emerson, Mishi Batshuayi. Do you see Ross Barkley, Jorginho both going this window, Miss?
No, it'll be honestly, Jorginho is going to be very difficult. I think Chelsea wants to get him out, but this deal will be very complicated. And Barkley, as Tom said, who's going to match his wages? He's going to have to take a big wage cut to go elsewhere.
Right.
I don't honestly. I don't see any of this happening.
Tom?
Yeah, I agree. Jorginho now Sarri's left Juventus means he's not going there. Roma, I don't know whether Roma will end up taking him under. I think it's Genesio. It's not Genesio. It's Francesco at Roma. I don't think he plays a style that really would promote somebody like a Jorginho.
Right.
And again, Barkley, it would have to be a club that would make him a marquee signing who would be willing to pay their wages. Like a signing someone like what Max Meyer was for Crystal Palace, somebody where they're basically going to their own wage structure to give him a player wage. But it depends on whether a Premier League club's going to do that or not, as far as I'm concerned.
I see. Rafi, do you see Jorginho going this season?
The thing is, we don't need him anymore in the squad. But the fact is, can we sell him off? So I highly doubt we are seeing any team in the horizon who will be willing to take him at this point. And about Barkley, I'm having a little hunch that Lampard has some plan with him. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but in the recent days, how he developed his game, he's taking shots more often. He's putting some impact on the team. And actually, I'm having this feeling that Lampard might want to stick with him, and he at least he might keep him for cup matches or something like that. So Jorginho, only if someone approaches to take him. Otherwise, no. And my bet will be Barkley will stay, regardless of the fact that is huge wage and other facts.
Fine. So we discussed about regarding Tomori. I mean, he's a favorite of Tom. So Tom, do you see him going on loan for this season or staying at Chelsea?
I hope not. I really hope not. I have a hunch Lampard likes Tomori. So I'm going to say no. But I know this kind of ruins it. It wouldn't surprise me if he did, but I don't want him to, and I don't.
I see. I am just talking about Jorginho more because, as you know, we are buying a lot of players and we are spending a lot of money. We also need to generate some money from the squad, right? I mean, Willian was free, so we couldn't have sold him. We going for the free. So we have some assets like Ross Barkley, Jorginho that we can sell. Yeah. So
pay
do
him
you see?
For us.
Yeah, I mean, do you see where the money is coming from? If you want to generate it, do you see anyone who's selling? There's still some talk regarding Kante maybe going. I'm 100% sure that Kante not going. Yes. So where the money going to comes from? I mean, we have to sell a lot of player. I guess.
Bakayoko one will get.
Yeah.
I think €20 million for him.
Yeah.
Not
Emerson.
Liked, but enough. It's still something. I'm not complaining given the experience we have with him. Drinkwater, we need to get him off the wage book somehow.
Absolutely,
I don't know how we're
absolutely.
gonna do it. And if we can't do it, maybe what we can do is sell Drinkwater and pay a proportion of his wages or something, and that would be fine with me because it cuts off.
Right.
He's on a ridiculous amount. He's on about 120.
20, right.
I look at, Willian and Pedro were both on big wages. I think
Yes.
as much as people talk about getting fees in, it's
Mhm.
as important, if not more important, to look at the wage bill. So getting those two out will be important to me. Drinkwater, even if we have to pay some of it, fine. Bakayoko, again, same deal, but we won't need to with him. After that, it's very difficult because Barkley, Lampard does like. I don't think he'll happily get rid of him. And there are other players as well. I don't know.
Emerson would go,
Emerson,
Tom.
Emerson 100%.
Emerson,
And
yeah.
Batshuayi would go as well.
Amici
Right.
goes, if someone can pay his wages. Again, do you think they will?
I think Leeds are quite interested with Batshuayi. Because Bielsa had the links with Batshuayi back in Marseille, so
Yeah.
he fancies this particular player. I see this happening because someone like Batshuayi, it's not like he's that old. I think he's going to be 26 this season in the coming season. So he can kickstart his career again. Someone like Bielsa understands him as well. Maybe could get that that same sort of thing that he had back in Marseille out of him. So we could probably generate some money there. As I said, Emerson, we can generate some money there. I guess we've already talked about Bakayoko, who's going to generate a bit of money. And let's not forget, players like Eden Hazard and Morata, who's gone, and we've had a ban.
Use this the fund,
So we can use that all the money as well there.
Another point I forgot to make as well that goes with this, the Cobham Loan Army. So with FIFA's loan law coming in, I think they're only allowed to do a maximum, I think it's of 8 a season, but don't hold me to that.
Not this season. It's got suspended from 2021, 22. So, but we have to reduce. But for sure we have to reduce. Otherwise, next season it will be very tough for us to trim that players.
It's all money coming in though. It's all good money.
Yes.
And there are some players in that loan army that we can get 10 to 15 million pounds.
We also sold that guy who sold to Atalanta. I forgot his name. Pasalic. Mario
Pasalic.
Yeah.
15 million there.
Yeah, 15 million, right.
There is money there. That's the thing. There is money there. It's just finding it.
So thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Means it's midnight in Australia. Hope tomorrow you wake up and see Chelsea sign someone.
I might as well not go to bed anymore. I might as well just stay up.
Okay, one last questions. I just take one name. Regarding the signing, Werner, Ziyech, and sorry, this is a bit premature, but I take Kai Havertz as well and Ben Chilwell. In this 4 player, who is going to be the standout player next season? Tom.
Werner.
Miss.
For me, Ziyech. Ziyech is going to blow people's mind. He's gonna. If we have a good season, he will probably be Chelsea Player of the Season.
Great. Rafi.
Ziyech.
Nafis.
Same, Hakim Ziyech. I love his playmaking and everything.
Ziyech here as well. So fight for Ziyech.
Take a moment to laugh at Robbie Lyle telling us that Willian's better.
Being very honest, I am
his words.
I'm really considering Kai as a bonus.
Yeah. So Tom, I am going to give a bit compliment. You look like Werner though. I don't know why. Yeah. Bit.
It's the best compliment anyone can ask for. I like it.
Thank you, but you might get some Twitter name maybe now. Werner's fans.
I need to get a Werner shirt now.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike, thank you so much for your time, for your kind time. We'll see you again in this show in the future for sure. When all the signing is done, we get back to you again and get some knowledge about that. Okay, take care.
Anytime.
Okay.
And
Anytime.
Okay.
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
anything you want to say, Tom, to our fans who was watching you for the last 1.5 an hour?
So first, anytime you want me on, I'll do my best to come on. Second,
Thank you.
I own the All Things Chelsea website. Check it out if you can do. All the latest news
Absolutely.
we upload as soon as we can. If anyone's interested in writing for us or
Yeah.
editing for us, anyone is welcome. Let me know over Twitter. I'm at Tovers98, so give me a follow and let me know. DMs are always open. Sorry,
Yeah, thank you,
was
Mike. Thank you. Miss, you're going to say anything to our fans?
First of all, thank you so much, guys, for having me on. I love coming back. It gives me the connection with my home country, and I enjoy it so much to be able to connect like that. So yeah, I'll be more than happy to come back again. I love coming to this particular platform with you guys and talking about football. I enjoy it. Even at almost 1 a.m. in the morning, I enjoy it very much. Two things that I want to
Thank you
say
so
is that
much.
one, guys, please, if you want to see more about my opinions, my knowledge on some of the things that we've talked about, I talk about this on a regular basis in my channel, in my YouTube channel called The Other Side of the Coin. Search up The Other Side of the Coin, or you can even see me on my Twitter page, and you'll see, the link for my YouTube channel there. And we also have a publication called The Blue Stand. Please follow it, and also check out the YouTube channel there, where we bring absolutely some top-notch guests there talking about everything latest football, Chelsea football. So those are the two things that I would love you guys to follow.
Thank you so much, guys. And to our fans, we'll share the Tom's Twitter and his blog, and also Mi's YouTube links and his Twitter account to our page. You guys can go and follow them and write for them and give them some encouragement. And thank you so much, Nafis and Rafi, in the show. And thank you very much. Thank you for your kind time, Miz and Tom. See you
Thank
later.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone. See you
See
later.
ya.
Thank you, guys.
Have a nice day.
See ya.
Thank you.